Let's talk to Vanessa Frake, though, former prison governor and author, because a couple of stories this morning, Vanessa, have caught our eye. One, that apparently the drugs crisis in prison has got worse and worse and worse, probably since you were doing your job there. Seizures by prison officers have got reached a record high, and apparently people say they can get drugs easier in prison than they can outside. Incredible. Morning.
Good morning, Mike. Yeah, I mean, I think it's become an endemic of our prison system, and I think that there's many reasons for that. One of which is overcrowding. One is lack of purposeful activity. So prisoners are spending longer in their cells, maybe only out of their cells for a couple of hours a day. So boredom sets in, and yeah, you're right, stuck in a cell, locked up, watching TV. So what do? They turn to drugs. I mean, some of the statistics are horrendous. Nearly at HMP Wood Hill, which is a high security jail, 42% of prisoners tested positive for drug use. Well, that's unacceptable. And I think we've done very little to stop the drones. All we've done is implement a 400-meter no-fly zone. Well, I'm sorry, but these are sophisticated drones. These aren't your 50-quid drones from Argos. These are drones that cost thousands of pounds. They're operated by pilots who are expert at it. They can be in and out, delivering many kilos of drugs in 20 seconds. Yeah. So I think when the MOJ says, we have a zero tolerance to drugs and we've implemented a no-fly zone, they think that's that. And of course, that isn't that. And this has implications for us all. No, because if more prisoners, most prisoners will be released back into the community at some stage. Right. And by going out, high on drugs or a serious drug addict, they're going to continue that and commit crime in the community to fund that habit. Right. And that's a worry for us all, I think. Yeah, and also it's going to connect more people with more drug dealers, isn't it, presumably? Because if you're in prison and you might not know the dealer who's bringing the drugs into you, but you will get to know him, and so when you come out, you might then either go and work for him or certainly go and use his facilities. Yeah, absolutely. And we know that, prisons are pretty good at keeping prisoners inside jails. We have the odd escape here and there, but when you think about the amount of prisoners we lock up, we're good at keeping them inside. But actually, what we're not very good at is rehabilitation. I've said this many times, Mike, to you. We have the worst rehabilitation rates in Western Europe, right. And that has consequences for us all. Yeah, it really does. Another story today that I wanted to mention to you, Vanessa, is the one where government review is going to recommend, basically, that we don't send what they call low-tier criminals like burglars, thieves, robbers and drug addicts to prison at all. That somehow, they bypass prison because there's frankly no room for them, and we give them different and alternative sorts of sentences. That's not going to be much of a deterrent, is it? No, it's a difficult one, because I do think that there are a lot of people who are locked up who shouldn't be locked up, who would be far better serving their sentences in the community. But that's on the basis that the community sentences are robust and address offending behaviour. And at the moment, I don't think that our community sentences are robust enough. So again, that is a bit of a worry, unless they strengthen our community services and our monitoring services and use technology to monitor prisoners much better in the community. Well, that's right, because if you don't really punish them, or at least they don't even have a concern that they're going to be likely sent to prison, then, I don't think that's going to be any disincentive for them to carry on committing crime. Vanessa, great to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed. Vanessa Frake there.